message center announcements. I'm sure there's not really many after Ignite, right, Don?
Yeah, funny. That
I
is a good
did.
one.
Yeah, I did. I was reading through the blogs because, after Ignite, where you learn about what's all happened from Ignite is really, yeah, you have the message center. That's practicality, right, of your own tenant, but like what's actually trending out there. We had
Yeah.
15 blog posts, 15. So, you could do the recap. You can do the voice. So then when you're walking, you can listen to all the blogs, but
Which is
lots
nice.
of
Yeah,
updates.
absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
agreed. Or, maybe have Copilot create a podcast for you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, Michelle. And we are going to jump into December's message center announcements. And as always, there's a lot. I mean, this is all relevant to your particular tenant. You're going to see some different messages than others, but high level, these are the ones that I've gone through and kind of curated for today. And this does kind of hit back into November, into December now, and kind of hit some of those things that have been really happening. And yes, some of them are relevant to Ignite announcements as well. But first, we're going to hit some non-Copilot pieces that were not a part of that. We're going to hit Teams first. And so one of the things you're going to start seeing here in targeted release for early January to late January and worldwide February to late March is the fact is you're going to have a little bit more flexibility inside your Teams layouts during these types of meetings, right? So being able to resize the content area and being able to, really focus on either the people or the content or whatever you want to do from that side of things. So resizable dividers, so it's easier to be able to go back and forth, adjust to your content, and then being able to swap positions of that content. This will work in spotlighted, like for instance, right now in this meeting, we're using spotlighted speakers. You can do pin videos or even speaker view or different options you have inside Teams for your views. You can use it in any one of those particular scenarios. So that again is coming here worldwide for late February to early February to late March. On the Teams phone side of things, one of the issues for a while is the ability to be able to do more extensive DTMF, or basically when you're on a call, in this case, when you're on a meeting, you want to bring somebody in and you have to go through the menu to be able to get to somebody, right? So dial 1 for this person, dial, and so forth. We're finally getting more of those capabilities to be able to actually have those dial tone pieces in there. And so that's happening here, targeted early February to mid-February worldwide, mid-February to late February. And this ability to do that. So if somebody's behind an auto attendant or an IVR, you're going to be able to use that navigation to be able to get through there. So great change, especially for those who have Teams Phone deployed within their organizations. All right, on the SharePoint side, there's going to be a change specifically inside your libraries. And this is going to be kind of cool in those use scenarios where you want to be able to have people upload content into a specific location, but you don't want them to be able to touch anything else, right? So that kind of remote folder upload type of thing. That's what's happening here. Starting late November, already started happening. It's pushing out to everybody. I mean, worldwide, GCC, GCCH, and DoD, and you'll be getting it between now and early January. And really, this is for your owners and editors within that SharePoint site to be able to create a custom upload form. And what you're going to see is in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a form option. And it's literally going to allow you to be able to create that form, and they can have an upload spot. You can put some details in there for those files, those types of things. And it's really for your internal scenarios, right? For inside your tenants themselves. What it's going to do is it's going to create a target folder and giving permissions to be able to access and put content in there, but they're not going to be able to edit or change that content once it's submitted into that location. All right, so this is available for desktop. This is available for mobile browser. And just make sure you notify your end users this feature is coming out and test it beforehand. I think it's pretty cool feature. Yeah, Joel, you're probably right. Won't work for guests you'd have to be inside that tenant itself to be able to do things. All right, on the team side, so for a while here on Teams, we've had the ability to be able to have users do a voice and face enrollment. And that is for the different features that are available within Teams to say, hey, this is you, right? This is who I am. And if you're thinking about things like meeting transcripts, things like that, and if you're in a room, that kind of stuff will lend to being able to call you out in that transcript versus like if you're remote, right? Easily remote, but in a room, not so easy. So we had some control inside TAC or Teams Admin Center for individually being able to go in there and delete that voice and face enrollment stuff. However, now we're getting an actual dashboard and data deletion controls inside TAC. So it gives us a lot more capabilities, right? So I can see enrollment statuses, who has it, who doesn't, counts, aggregate data. It also can do it deleting groups, right? So before I can only do individual deletion. Now it feels like I can do a lot more with that. So I can do batch deletions as necessary. So make sure your admins know this is coming mid-January to end of January. On the 365 side of things, I know a lot of organizations like to utilize more of the properties that are available within Entra ID, Azure AD, to be able to really fully understand that person and how they work. So there's more features coming. And I have to believe this is going to be supporting some of the other agents and some of the things that are coming down in the future. But actually opening up more fields, and specifically the ones that they're calling out are here. The role, division, employee ID, employee number, cost center pieces are going to be available inside that profile card that you find, right? So this is happening here mid-December to end of January, and that should be happening soon. And it is sources are going to be Entra ID, right? So the Microsoft Entra ID, or if you have your external HR systems connected to Graph, those would be available as well. So you just have to make that connection to these fields in this HR system equal these here, and then they would start populating based off of that connection. So make sure that you are notifying people of that. Coming out here in public preview, it's actually started already mid-November to late January. There's a new organizational message capability that is email delivery, which before we did not have this capability. And if you guys, we've talked about this feature previously, just one way from a user adoption to be able to get the message out as far as new features and different pieces to help them with being able to utilize that feature or service. Email is going to be that next thing, right? So now we have that email capability. Admins can create some templates, messages. There are going to be a couple templates already built in, and these are going to be focusing primarily on Copilot in general, but you can also create your own as necessary. So that's going to be coming out here worldwide late March to late April. But if you're in preview, you'll be able to get it between now and late January. All right, jumping to the Copilot side, there's some things that are changing. I mean, literally changing right now. I don't know if you've seen this, if you have Microsoft 365 Copilot or even chat for that matter. And you see in the past, it used to say, try GPT-5, right? So that was part of that right there. Now things are flipping over. And in fact, there was an intermediate I said, basically, you may have seen it says, that that feature is on permanently, right? And then you can toggle it off if you need it. Well, by the way, now at this point between December 4th and today, it should have toggled to GPT-5 is now set by default. And within that drop down, you're going to get a couple options with auto and quick response and deep thinker, right? Auto takes a look at the information that you have and determines, does it need a quick response versus something deeper, right? Versus you knowing that you want to have some more deeper analytics, you can then go straight to the deep, as opposed to having to let it decide. So you have those options to do it. please let your end users know this is happening. It's probably out there right now, and you just want to make sure everybody knows that that change has happened. All right. What's also happening here worldwide between December 15th and the end of the month is they're decoupling the admin controls for agents on and off from the researcher and analyst. And this was based off of a lot of feedback that that was given from our customers, specifically wrapped around being able to say, hey, we want to be able to control these features differently than our other agents, right? So you can still have Copilot agents disabled and still utilize these as necessary. So that change is happening now, actually soon, December 15th to the end of the month. So keep that in mind. Let your admins know that the change is happening as well. All right. On the Copilot chat side, so there are a couple agents, and this was actually one of the announcements that were talked about at Ignite specifically. If you're part of the Frontier, and again, if you're not familiar with Frontier in general, Frontier are those, you have to have certain criteria to be a part of the Frontier, but once you meet those criteria, you turn it on, and then you could have certain people test these things out before they even get out to the rest of your organization, right? So they can be part of that Frontier program. If you're part of that, then Word, Excel, PowerPoint agents will start showing up in your navigation. And basically what they are is the ability to be able to, literally create a document from your Copilot chat. It's an agent. You can actually, mention it inside that chat if you're working on something and then you want it to actually pump out a Word document with a lot more detail as necessary. Things like Word, it's going to be able to do more researching, formatting, layout, and content refining, where I've seen sometimes in regular chat, that's not consistent. Excel, it could actually do data analysis, deep data analysis, formula generation, trending, and summarization of your information. PowerPoint, it literally can generate that presentation right in the chat. The one thing I do want to mention is that that's all part of the Anthropic usage thing. You have to toggle that to be able to get access to that. And there are some organizations that are looking at what that really means. So keep that in mind if you're looking at doing that. You don't see it even if you're in Frontier. Well, it's possible that Anthropic usage, which is another AI partner that we're doing and working with, that hasn't been opted in yet. So keep that in mind. Make sure you let your admins know about this. Make sure you let your users know that. But right now it's in Frontier and we don't have a general availability date yet on that feature. All right, Copilot dashboard. New prompt categories are going to be actually dropping into that dashboard, which a lot of organizations are asking, hey, I want to know how they're utilizing some of those built-in prompts that are a part of this, right? So things like, or even categories like, hey, ask and then find, or catch up, or draft and brainstorm, and another category are going to be showing up in your metrics. And there are going to be a couple spots where you're going to be able to see that information aggregate and over time, right? So keep that in mind. Mid-December to late December is when all of that's going to be happening. And this is really on the admin side. Yeah, Michelle agreed. Disappointed. Yeah, and Chris, I agree. Yes, there is that, but there are some things coming here shortly that you can be released about talking about that. So just keep your ear open. All right. Another thing which you're going to be able to see is not just about those starter prompts, is also in general about Copilot chat insights, right? So you're going to get more information into just the regular Copilot chat, starting in mid-January to end of January, and access, you'll see all that information from that Copilot dashboard side of things. Things like usage over time, adoption by group. So really understanding it, if you guys are not familiar with the free Copilot chat piece, a lot of organizations are going down that route and utilizing that first and finding out who are my, the top people are utilizing it the most. Maybe they're the ones that are going to get that license that they need. So But this then gives you the metrics to really understand, by group, who's using it more, what's the intensity or what's the actual usage on that, even what are the app level breakdowns and where they're utilizing it. So you get more data on what's going on. So that's happening here mid-January to end of January, and that's going to be in the Copilot dashboard in Viva. All right, another change happening, and this is going to be starting in early December to late March, so it's a little bit of a longer time frame. But what you're going to start seeing in your Word, Excel, and PowerPoint apps is the Copilot button is going to disappear from the toolbar, and from there, it's actually going to be kind of like a little charm, a pill. I don't know how you want to say it, but there's going to be this icon there that's then going to be inside the canvas area for that particular document or for that particular product, right? It's going to be in web, it's going to be desktop and mobile, and it's going to first appear to a certain percentage of customers and that have pinned enabled first, and then it's going to deploy more later on. But just understand, if you see that, then understand it's not in the ribbon anymore. It's actually down below. Admins can disable, in general, the Copilot chat if that's the case by not doing that pin piece, and we'll actually respect that. Even moves from the toolbar into the canvas area. But just keep in mind that is going to be a big change. Make sure your users know that might be coming out here shortly. All right, so those are the big pieces. I do have some quick mentions that I want to say. Some of these are Copilot, some of these are some other areas specifically. A couple of things. There is going to be a new section within the Admin Center Copilot settings. Readiness actually gives you assessments and guidance on deploying Copilot chat that should be showing up here worldwide January to late February. OneDrive and SharePoint are going to get the ability to recognize text in PDFs, right? So there's going to be a built-in OCR component that's going to actually scan those documents and then being able to read them directly in there. We have some autocorrect capabilities happening here, and that literally is as you're composing, it will autocorrect some of the crazy mistakes that some of us do as we're typing, right? So common misspellings, not everything. It'll still do the, hey, by the way, it looks like this. Word may be wrong and give you that notice anyways. Q&A, read aloud in real-time voice interaction. So right now, if you have Copilot do anything from a reading content, you can't necessarily ask back and forth questions. It's literally just reading the content for you. You're getting some more capabilities where you're going to be able to ask questions. So it's not going to be just passive. Podcast interaction, same scenario. But if you make a podcast, eventually then with this release happening here in January, you'll be able to get more and actually ask more questions at that point. Session persistence is another big piece that is coming here in December. Actually should be happening here now it should have come out as well. And then some features, excuse me. Some features in just Copilot chat, and I think this is a big one, early January to late March, without having necessarily a full version of Copilot license, right? Then you'll be able to actually see and do things even in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, right? Giving you the ability to still reason over your inbox, calendar, and meetings, giving you more for that free piece to it, and getting more information out of that. And then lastly, for the quick updates, service health dashboard, archiving your service health issues. So if you have any issues in there and you got a lot of them in there, you can actually archive them and look at them later as necessary. And then from an admin action side of things, the only thing a couple things I want to mention, we do have a Visio visualizer, data visualizer add-in is getting retired, and this has been out there for quite a while. We did talk about the Outlook schema a couple sessions ago. This one too is just make sure this is the new one. Excel insert data from an image is going to retire in July 2026. So keep that in mind. Outside, the rest of these have been ones that we've been talking about for quite a while. So with that, Michelle,
Sounds great. Well,
turn it back over to
you know,
you.
not many things have been added, so it's a pretty quiet
Yeah, not at all.
time.
No, no, it's been
Yeah,
interesting, that's for sure.
yeah,
And
it
I
sure
do want to
has.
mention, click on these links to get more information for yourself. Community Hub, which is all the hubs for blog posts, as well as I forget what's the other one I have in there. Give me a second. Oh, and the roadmap. Don't forget the roadmap. That's also a good place to get more details. So with that, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thanks, Don. Yeah, and I think Pete also posted the book of news, which is really the culmination of all the things that Ignite as well. And so it's a great
Yep.
location to get caught up. And then inside of there, you know, they might have a blurb about what the feature is, but then they have a more, and you can click on that. It might go to a blog post, it might go to the learn area
Agreed.
of the Microsoft site. So